Well, the Cleveland Browns went back to practice Wednesday, and unfortunately, we are not getting what we were all hoping for. The quarterback change is not going to happen, at least not for this week. We'll talk about it and some more. Your latest Locked On Browns starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that ever ends your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound, LGB, and the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jeff Lloyd. We appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. The everyday crowd keeps growing and growing. Don't miss out on the action. Join in on the fun. Subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Well, we didn't get the news, and according to Coach Kevin Stefanski, it's not being considered. I don't know why. I don't have an answer. It makes no sense. It makes negative, less than 0 sense to at least try for try's sake. But we still got a show to do, and we got a team to talk about, and we got a ball game coming up Sunday against Philadelphia Eagles. I mentioned yesterday Browns were starting to prepare for a bevy of roster moves. Well, here we go with some of it. Charlie Hewlett, long snapper, will go on injured reserve, which means Charlie Hewlett will be out for 4 weeks. Rex Unahara will be called up. Ohio native, he will be the long snapper for at least the next 4 weeks, while Charlie hopefully gets healthy. Maurice Hurst, Mahmoud Diabate have both been designated to return, so both practiced today in full, as did rookie defensive tackle Mike Hall, of course, coming off the commissioner's exempt list. We all know about Mike's incident. Hopefully now Mike, with all this in the past, can get back to work. Cleveland has made some moves to the active roster and certainly to the practice squad. We talked about that yesterday as well. Again, Rex Unahara up to the 53. Jeff Swaim is going to be on the 53-man roster. David Njoku did not practice today with the knee injury. We didn't get much more detail than that. To the practice squad, safety Trey Dean and defensive end Marcus Haynes. As we all know, the Browns are now without Alex Wright for the remainder of the season. Browns currently only carrying 4 defensive ends on the 53-man roster, had been carrying 5. Myles Garrett did not practice today as well. We understand that. That's kind of been the MO for Myles. He has not been practicing Wednesdays, limited on Thursdays, and then usually picks it up on Fridays and is ready to go on Sundays. But did have friends, of course, today not practicing. Grant Delpit, concussion. So certainly it's going to be the wait and see approach. You're going to have, Grant at least get a first practice back in. Then possibly, whether or not his status for Sunday will happen, we will find out later in the week. Dante Foreman out today with an ankle. Safety Ronnie Hickman also out today with an ankle. James Hudson out with a shoulder. This is weird because there were people last week saying that James Hudson was going to go on injured reserve. So definitely strange there. Ethan Posick did not practice today as well with a knee injury, and Denzel Ward out of practice today with a hamstring injury. So, yeah, things are going great to this point for your Cleveland Browns. Deshaun spoke, and I guess you gotta, if you're Deshaun, it's kind of the way you got to do it. I had no idea anybody was calling for me to maybe be benched or hoping that I was going to be benched and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, sure, guy. I don't think anybody believes you. Nobody believes that you did not know and do not know, that anybody, with a brain or a set of eyes is realizing that you're certainly not playing up to the level of expectation for an NFL starting quarterback. This is the thing. And, with running him back out there, I think we're all at the same hope meter or expectation meter or possibly winning a game meter for Sunday as everybody else. I think everybody's in the same boat. None of us think with him out there, there's a shot. Maybe you get Nick Chubb back. Certainly would increase the morale of the fan base and maybe some possible belief that this team could go into Philadelphia and win a game on Sunday. And let's be honest, the Eagles are 2-2. Beat the Saints, beat the Packers, lost to the Falcons, lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Eagles are struggling. Certainly wouldn't put it on anywhere the level of the Cleveland Browns as far as struggle. But this is now your third road game in a row. You lost your first two. You're not playing well. Your quarterback certainly is not playing even close to well. Your defense is having issues. This seems like a really, really difficult, road trip to get fired up about to go play this ball game. You're 1-4. You understand you still, can control your own destiny. But right now, you have enough time tying your shoes, let alone controlling your own destiny to winning a division title. So certainly, difficult there. Andrew Berry will get to see his brother while he's in town. His twin brother certainly works for, as his brother works for the Philadelphia Eagles organization. But you're going to make this trip, and between now and Sunday, and you guys know me, I'll find a way to talk myself into any scenario or will it in my brain to find a way that the Cleveland Browns can somehow become victorious in any game at any time. It's probably not going to happen here. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just not going to happen here. Not only is his team playing poorly, they're beat up. And again, we don't know who's in. We don't know who's out. I guess and I assume we won't have the starting center Ethan Posick this week. Most likely that would be Nick Harris. But you probably know who your left tackle is going to be, your left guard is going to be, your right guard is going to be, and your right tackle is going to be. So, hey, guess that's something. Deshaun did speak today. Speaking about the missed touchdown pass to Jerry Jeudy, and you're starting to see everybody giving their video breakdowns, and Kurt Warner, and it's a lot of the same things I keep talking about: ghost pressures, seeing things that aren't there, thinking he's seeing things that aren't there. Brian Baldinger broke down the play to Jerry Jeudy. And again, it's just the simplicity. Two guys attack to the middle. One guy's going to flatten it off. One guy's going to take it deep, post pattern type style. It was there. It was wide open there. Deshaun didn't throw it for whatever reason. And of course, again, started running away from a pocket that, was clean, was safe, all of those good things. It's getting really hard. It's getting really hard to talk about this and, try to have faith. But we're going to do the best we can. And we're going to get the best coverage we can. It's what we do here. It's what we've always done here. We're going to continue on Locked On Browns. Appreciate you all for being along for the ride. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and millions and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's really become something favorite for me for primetime games. Pick 2, 3 guys, 3, 4 guys within the game. Just another thing. This way you're not flipping around watching other games. You watch one game, so you obviously have a great idea just to how your lineup is doing. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Just go to Prize Picks and you can download the app and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It is highly encouraged to get the best lineup you possibly can. But with Prize Picks, it's highly encouraged because you can win some money. Prize Picks, run your game. Your latest Locked On Browns continues. Your host, Jeff Lloyd. As always, we appreciate you all for taking the time to make us your first listen every single day. Highly suggested if you've not done it by now, become an everyday or subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. The show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. Now, one of the burning questions, and it's funny because regardless of play, this comes up each and every week. Should Kevin Stefanski give up play calling? Which is funny because, one day Dorsey's a bum, one day's great, one day Coach Stefanski's a bum, one day Coach Stefanski's great. Kevin Stefanski has been the play caller for this team his entire existence here. I could understand a scenario, especially with the team playing as bad as it currently is, and collectively bad. You are the head coach. You don't necessarily have a designation offense, defense either way. So if you weren't the play caller, maybe it would allow you to put your hat into some other areas of the team, defense, special teams, blah, 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 blah. Of course, I get all that. But if the quarterback isn't getting it done, it doesn't matter if coach is calling the plays, I'm calling the plays, Ken Dorsey's calling the plays. It just doesn't matter. And it gets more and more difficult to understand the rationalization of what exactly this team is doing. You understood you were going to punt basically on the 2022 season. You knew Deshaun was going to get a suspension. When that suspension was levied, and then the NFL barked back, and then the suspension was elongated to 11 games, you pretty much understood that with a whole bunch of players in their prime on your roster in 2022, that you were basically conceding the season due to the fact that your big-time quarterback acquisition was only going to play the final 6 regular season games. The pressure certainly was there, and by the time Deshaun got back to play, essentially needed to go and run the table. As we all know, that did not happen. Now, 2023, obviously circumstances change. You get good ball out of Deshaun before you lose him for the season. You pull a couple of rabbits out of the hat and find a way to go 11-6 and get to the playoffs. But here you are now in 2024, and essentially now for maybe the second time in 3 seasons, if you're going to continue to play Deshaun and at 1-4, and if you're going to continue to play Deshaun at 1-4, and it's not looking promising in any way whatsoever, you are now in a position here where maybe you're conceding yet another season with a whole bunch of players in their prime on your roster. Again, I go back to the show the other day, insanity. It just doesn't make much sense to me. And I don't get how we get here. And I just don't know how at 1-4, with all the expectations after going 11-6 last year, building the roster back and, getting, a couple other key guys in here, that all of a sudden you're just going to continue to bang your head into the brick wall and pray that for somehow, some way, all of a sudden there is going to be, a 180-degree difference of caliber of play from Deshaun Watson this Sunday in Philadelphia. And I just don't get it. Look, the offensive line played better last week, and better by no means fits what has been the norm here for this team and its offensive line since 2020. Certainly last year, 2023, had its own issues with injuries, and that That's a different story. But you need every area, every positional group of your football team to improve. You need better quarterback play. You need better running back play. You need better wide receiver play. You need better tight end play. You need better offensive line play. You need better defensive line play. Linebackers, I'll give it to you guys. You guys have been pretty darn good. But if you can give any more, certainly would not be frowned upon. You have a cornerback unit that possibly could be without Denzel Ward. Martin Emerson has certainly struggled to this point, so your corner certainly can get better. The way I see it, practice consisted of today of two safeties who are on 53-man roster in Rodney McLeod and DeAnthony Bell. We know Thornhill is still on IR. Grant Delpit was out with concussion, and Ronnie Hickman out with an ankle injury. It doesn't matter if Kevin Stefanski's calling the plays. It doesn't matter if Ken Dorsey's calling the play. I mean, we are trying to just find any trivial way. And look, I get it. I think so many of us want to walk over to the wall and pretend there's a fictional plug there and just unplug this team, blow on the plug, and plug it back in, and hope all of a sudden there's going to be this monster turnaround from this team. I just don't see it. I think this team is so far removed, is such a shell of what they were last year, and even in some of their better moments of this current Barry Stefanski regime. And again, you get back to it is, where are guys' heads at? Because you can't fool ball players. Guys know ball. What's always been the line? Ball, no ball. It's been something guys have said forever. Ball don't lie. It's these guys, you have to wonder just how high the will meter is for these guys right now. Hey, number one, you're already way behind the 8 ball at 1-4. You're about to go on your third road game in a row. You're going to fire up conference play next week. Yeah, maybe the Cincinnati Bengals get you a little excited. You always fared well against them, but, Cincinnati's defense stinks, which I told you was going to be the case. But if you got Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, there's a chance they can drop 40 on anybody at any given time. It's just getting more and more of the same and just getting more and more difficult. And, for Coach Stefanski, I wish him well in everything that he's doing right now. But it's got to be an extremely difficult job to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns right now. And at least saying we're going to play Jameis Winston would have maybe amped everybody up a little bit. But it feels like it's just going to be the same old stale, tired effort Sunday in Philadelphia. We're going to start to talk a little bit about the Eagles. Your latest Locked On Browns continues. Appreciate everybody for being along for the ride. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. I have a daughter right now, senior in high school, so obviously we're going through the college process. And it definitely got me thinking, we all get so predetermined in our younger years and what we want to study, get ready, go to school. But what about you now? How much different are you now than you were when maybe that 18-year-old kid that started off going to college and headed towards what was going to be his possible profession? Well, time is one of our most precious commodities. So don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend it wisely? How would you like to improve yourself? I'm sure there's things you would like to go back and learn. Guess what? You can do that. History, economics, great works of literature, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution. Did you study these things in school? Most likely you didn't. Or even if you did, maybe it's time to refresher. Your friends are sitting around having these big time conversations and you're nodding along like Joey from Friends. Time and technology have changed a lot of things, but they have not changed basic fundamental truths about the world and our place in it. Our sponsor, Hillsdale College, is offering more than 40 free, that's right, free online courses, including Constitution 101, the meaning and history of the Constitution, Introduction to Free Market Economics, The Great American Story, A Land of Hope, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Republic, and a brand new documentary style course on Marxism, socialism, and communism. So for me, I got to be honest, I like U.S. history. It grows more on me as the years go on. So if you're interested in any of this, you should check out online.hillsdale.edu/courses. All of Hillsdale's courses are self-paced so that you can start whenever and tune in whenever you have the time. Plus, you can go deeper with readings, quizzes, discussions, or just listen and enjoy the lectures. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/lockedon to register. Hillsdale.edu/lockedon. Host Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. The news of the day, nothing has really changed. It appears Deshaun Watson will be your starter Sunday in Philadelphia. Who knows how many bad starts does it take? 5, 6, 15, 30? I don't know. But apparently that's the decision they are willing and going to go with this Sunday in Philadelphia. Mahmoud Diabate and Mike Hall and Maurice Hurst. Diabate and Maurice Hurst. The window is open for them to return from short-term IR. Mike Hall, obviously, after his incident in the late summer, getting the opportunity now to hopefully start his rookie season, hopefully this week in Philadelphia. So all things to monitor as the week goes on. Browns are banged up. No Njoku at practice. No Myles Garrett at practice. Denzel Ward, also another one. Grant Delpit, also another one. It's a banged up unit right now. It really is. Saddest part is Philadelphia Eagles are coming off of a bye this week. So certainly some big issues as far as all of that stuff is going on. You've got Jalen Hurts playing good, not great ball after a really difficult season last year for him. Saquon Barkley, to this point, that addition has been everything they hoped and dreamed it would have been. Well over 400 yards, a factor in the passing game. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, both out of the last Philadelphia Eagles game. Also have the benefit of the bye week. Look to appear to be on target to return this week. Tight end Dallas Goedert has been solid for them this point. Defensively, it's going to be interesting. You could have certainly Nick Harris as your starting center. Joe Bitonio has certainly struggled against some of the elite defensive tackles they have seen to this point this season. Zach Zinter kind of learning on the fly and certainly learning against some of the elite defensive tackles the Browns have played to this point. Oh, yeah, well, there's a couple of good ones. Those two Georgia boys over in Philly, those young men can play. And they play very, very well. Brandon Graham for the Eagles will be playing in his 200th game. Imagine being in the NFL and playing 200 games. That is quite impressive. The Eagles, it's going to be interesting how it works out for them. Obviously, for the NFC East, Washington off to a flying start at 3-1. The Eagles trying to right the ship last year really fell apart for them. Their last game, certainly a disappointing loss down in Tampa Bay, where they basically got doubled up, where 2023 ended for them in Tampa Bay. Getting embarrassed by Tampa is where their last game was, going down to Tampa and getting embarrassed again by Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Certainly going to be looking for vengeance. Philly is certainly not an easy city or home stadium to go play in. Again, we try to use all the phrases. We try to use, all the things that are going to sound, whimsical and witty. I don't know what to use anymore. Do you just say, well, you know what? Can you go kick somebody in the can as opposed to getting kicked in the can? Because the overall effort of this team right now, it's bad. The way that this project put together and this team looks on the field is just bad, and it's getting really, really tough. It is. I want better for you guys. I certainly like to talk about better football. I can't believe we're here where we were. In the beginning, I understood. I took a job in 2017 and I covered an 0-16 team. 2018 certainly brought some fun. There's no question about it. 2019, had, a couple of highs, a lot of lows. 2020 was exceptional. 21 was definitely a downward spiral. 22 was kind of just we understand we got to wait till next year. 23 certainly delivered like we hoped it to. And 24 feels like here we are going down the cliff all over again. I hope for better, and we'll continue to cover the daylights out of this as the week continues. We'll have crossover Thursday coming up. Really looking forward to talking to Lou from Locked On Eagles. Guys do a great job over there. He's got great insight, really, really in tight with everything Philly sports wise. Hope your Guardians are doing well. Hope for continued success for the New York Mets. At least we got something to, entertain us right now, I guess, boys and girls. I am Jeff Lloyd. I'm your host here at Locked On Browns. I appreciate you all so much. Everybody who takes time to make the show their first listen every single day, I appreciate you all so much. I mean, if we have to start shifting some of the content and, going towards draft earlier than possible, it's certainly something, that I'm considering and having talks with. So certainly keep your eyes on. Become an everydayer. The everyday crowd is a bunch of filthy animals. They are my filthy animals. I suggest you become a filthy animal as well. Subscribe to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Show is always available. It is always free wherever you get your podcasts. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on ELOB. Let's go Browns.